Hi, this is Between the Rumble Strips with Chris, and I'm making a video here to bring you guys up to speed on what's been going on since my last video. One of the things that we were doing is I looked back at some of my previous videos and noticed that the one where I shaved off my beard and cut my hair seemed to get a tremendous amount of hits, and so we're going to grow the beard back and maybe do another one of those. But anyway, one of the things that we've been working on is the fact that we purchased a new motorhome. Not new, it was used, but it was new to us. And we'd spent this last winter about 6 months in the Jayco Alante 32N. Great motorhome. We had it all set up with extra batteries and solar panels, so we were boondocking all over the place, and then we went to some areas and hooked up. It was a great time, and it was really nice, but it was lacking in a couple of things, and so Cindy and I decided we'd just go look and see what's out there. That way, if we came across something in the future when we got ready to sell the Alante, then we'd have a better idea of what was a good deal and what wasn't. So we went ahead and went over up in Washington State, went over to the I-5 corridor, and went up and down I-5 and went to a number of the different RV dealerships and talked to them about what was available. And actually, their inventory was lacking. I mean, there was not hardly any depth of inventory at any of these places. Now they had some that were in the $400,000 and $500,000 range, which is just out of our reach. But we were mainly curious at floor plans and different layouts of different brands of motorhomes. And we'd been on YouTube, researching different brands and looking at other people that have had different units. And we were still pretty much set on sticking with a Class A motorhome. And so anyway, we looked around, didn't find anything, and we ended up going to a site that my sister-in-law mentioned, which was a Facebook site, which was Marketplace in Facebook. And we saw a motorhome there that had just come on, had just been advertised or just been posted. And it was looking really good. It was a little bit older, but it was right about where I was interested. Now, one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to go to a diesel motorhome. I really wanted to get away from competing with all the cars at the gas pumps. It can get very congested and very easy to have problems in those tight little areas. Now there are some truck stops that offer regular gasoline in the truck areas, but by and large you're almost always going to have to compete with your regular residential cars or whatever you want to call them. And so anyway, we wanted to have a diesel rig. We wanted another Class A. We were interested in a little more floor space, or whatever you want to call it. We had a little more interior space, and then just some of the niceties that are out there. Well, we looked around and hadn't found anything, but when we came across this Marketplace that my sister-in-law told us about, we saw this one in there that looked pretty good. And so there was no way to contact the buyer directly, but we had to respond through Facebook Marketplace. And so we responded, and there was no response back from the seller. So we thought that maybe this was a scam, because we've seen a number of those where the really good deals are really not. They're a joke that somebody plays on somebody or whatever. And so anyway, we went ahead and figured that it was just not going to be, and we got ready to leave and head back home, and then we get a phone call from this guy, and he said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I put the ad in, my wife and I took off on a little trip, and we just got back, and I saw your response, and I'm sorry, but hey, if you want to look at the motorhome, you can come over and check it out. And we were not really that far, maybe an hour away from the guy, and I said, well, it's getting late in the day, and probably gonna be too dark to see it and get a good idea of what it's like, And he said, oh no, I got it in the garage. And I said, garage, And so anyway, we went over and looked at it, and boy, I'll tell you, this was as advertised. I mean, it was a very nice motorhome. It was in a garage, and you had a lot of other stuff. You had one of these huge trailers that, you double deck cars. You get 4 cars, 2 on top and 2 on the bottom. And so he had a $80,000 side by side, and the guy was really well set up. But anyway, I ended up looking this thing over, going over it with a fine-tooth comb, and we were pretty impressed. And because of the deal that we were looking at, I talked to him and asked him if we could get a little bit of consideration on the price and where he had to be. And he was a motivated seller. He wanted to sell. He was looking to put some money together to buy out his partner at his business and then build the business up and retire in a few years. And so he was a motivated seller. Well, I was a motivated buyer at that point. This thing looked tremendous. It was a 2008 Tiffin Phaeton QSH, quad slide H model, whatever that is. I don't know I don't know all the details of that. But anyway, he had new tires put on like a year and a half prior. He had nearly a full tank of gas in it, a 100-gallon tank. And then the propane tank was a 37-gallon, I think, and it was full. And they left all of their dishes and cookware. Everything was like new. It was really nice. And he just recently had the exterior, what they call cut and buffed. So this thing looked like a brand new coach. I'll show it to you here in a minute, but it looked like a brand new coach. It was amazing how nice and well cared for this thing was. It had a washer and dryer, and he said that they never used it because they just never had a need for it. And it was brand new. I mean, just everything was really in good shape. So at any rate, we worked out a deal, and within a few days we'd concluded our deal with him, and we brought it home. We started learning about it and trying it out and stuff. And it really has turned out to be a real nice motorhome. And I'll show it to you here. Okay, and here's the Tiffin Phaeton Motorhome. It's the lighting's not really good here, but it does give you a kind of an idea of what I've got. He did a great job on the finish, having it polished and buffed out and stuff, and the full body paint just looks great on this motorhome. There's no issues that I could find, no damage, no problem other than a few little tiny rock chips on the front, which is very normal. But the slides are in on this side and then around to the front, and then the slides are out on this other side. But I'm dubbing all this audio because there's a guy right across the street with a lawnmower going, and so. But yeah, it's a really nice motorhome, and so far, really like it. One of the things that we had on our old Jayco motorhome was it was a Victron Multi-Plus 3,000 watt inverter that we'd put on that, and we really liked that inverter. It was great. Well, the new motorhome has a Xantrax 2,000 watt inverter, which has been okay, but I really like the Victron product line. And So anyway, we are going to try to find somebody, maybe up here in the Northwest, who is good at solar installs and all that kind of stuff. And we'd kind of like to see if somebody could take the Xantrax off of this, put it in the Jayco, and take the Multiplus off the Jayco and put it in the Tiffin, and then add some solar panels. We have 5 Battleborn 100 amp hour batteries in the Tiffin now, and those have been fine to do most everything, watching TV all day, all night. We actually went boondocking. We didn't plug in for a good day and a half, and we watched a lot of TV, and we cooked and used the microwave and everything, and it was absolutely great. And it was a little cool, so the furnace ran, so the fan on the furnace ran. All that was taking power out of the batteries, and we lasted for probably a good 18 hours before we had to actually fire up the generator and recharge those batteries. So we're real happy with that, but we would like to go back to solar up on the roof, because we did that on the Jayco and it turned out to really be very successful. So anyway, we're looking to see if somebody can help with that, or this being a 36-inch Phaeton Tiffin Motorhome, if somebody has had the solar work done on the roof and can let us know where they ran the wires from the roof down through the coach down to the lower compartment where the battery bank is or whatever, or if they can give us an idea as to where they ran those wires, that would be good, because I can take a look and see if it's something I might be able to do. The other thing that we're looking for is we'd like to get a logo with the Tiffin Motorhome and the Between the Rumble Strips with Chris theme, and we'd like to have somebody help us with the design of that. I've talked to a person here in town nearby, and honestly, I guess we just don't have the level of professionalism here in this area that is what I'm looking for. We've never heard back from them, and so I'm going to write those guys off. We need to find somebody else, and so we're looking for some design ideas, and we're willing to pay whoever comes up with the right idea and the right look. So we're looking for that, and that's pretty much it for right now. I don't want this thing to get too long, so I'll show you more of the inside of the motorhome when we get things a little more settled. I've got quite a bit of stuff strewed around right now because we've gone up into the cabinets, you know, like right up in here, or actually the ones right over here. Gone up into these cabinets, and we put in the Reflectix, and that's helped out cut some of the heat out of those areas, and you know, that type of thing. But anyway, we're still just getting used to stuff, just learning about it, and so look for us on our village. We're now members of the R Village group, and we hope to see you guys out on the road. And if you see us, be sure to wave us down, let us know. We'd love to meet more and more RVers out there. And anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and click the notification bell, and that way you'll know when we have other videos like this. And we'll be doing more of these. And hey, thanks a lot for watching.